Hello and welcome to the Crypto Masters podcast, helping the general public to master an understanding of crypto assets. My name is Brian McCoy,
My name is Ross Eaton.
and we are the
The
Crypto
Crypto
Masters.
Masters.
Florida's in sync that time. Anyway, we're doing a little different this time. We're not together. We're using a Zoom to record, but hopefully all turns out well. I'm excited about our episode. Today's topic is basic attention token.
The BAT.
The
token.
BAT, also abbreviated, the acronym BAT. And there goes Ross drifting off.
Yep, I forgot to close my door.
Hey, as a reminder, our goal is to provide information about crypto assets to help you, the public, make investment decisions about crypto assets. We don't try to predict any short-term movements, so this show is not for short-term traders.
Yeah, we provide information about different crypto assets to allow you, the listener, to make their own investment decisions. This is not financial advice.
Disclaimer, not financial advice. So today will be our first podcast where we have as our topic a token instead of a coin. So basic attention token, or its acronym BAT. And Ross, I got to tell you, I like this one. What about you?
I like this a lot. I like it. I mean, it's just, first it grabbed me with its, initial, if you will, ad for itself about not liking the advertising world as it is now, especially the digital advertising world. I mean, it's just crazy. So I really, really like this one.
Right. So we'll get there. So one of the things that is different about this token as opposed to the other coins that we've discussed on past shows is that it is something that has a particular niche. I mean, we talked about Bitcoin, which is a cryptocurrency, Litecoin, which is a cryptocurrency, a couple of platforms, Ethereum and EOS. And those are all very general, if you will, crypto assets. This one's specific. It has a niche, and that niche, as you said, is advertising. So that's why it's called basic attention token, because attention is sort of the advertising word for getting eyeballs. You used to hear about eyeballs on websites. So I always think of, these eyes are crying. These eyes have seen a lot of love, but I've never seen love like you.
Oh, that's such a sweet sound. I like it.
All right, so Ross, we got our first token. Do we want to touch on the distinction between a token and a coin real quick?
Yeah, sure. So, I usually see it as a coin. It's got its own blockchain, its own value. Like people can mine it. It's on its own ecosystem. A token is running on, another blockchain, another ecosystem, if you will. So, there's all sorts of standards and stuff with it, but and also it's kind of a smart contract, if you will. So, a token is, on its own wavelength. It's not the same as a coin, but it does have value. It's interesting. Yeah. It's an interesting concept. So,
and like you said, doesn't have its own blockchain. They don't have to worry about that. No mining, no proof of stake, no proof of work. In this case, they use the Ethereum blockchain. So Ethereum's doing the mining, Ethereum's doing the proof of work, and they're messing with their proof of stake thing. Now, what is it a DApp? I'd call it a DApp. Maybe it's a DApp.
I'd call it more of a smart contract, but I mean, you could look at it as a DApp too.
But to use that, so that they don't have to have their own blockchain, they are paying some gas to Ethereum. But in any event, that's kind of what makes it a token instead of a coin. I don't know if we want to get into it. You touched on it. Its specific type of token on the Ethereum platform is an ERC20 token. And what is that, Ross? That's just kind of a standard for creating tokens. I don't really know the difference. I know there's some other ones.
Yeah, so there's a couple other standards. There's ERC 223, there's ERC 777, but
That's
really,
kind of the newest one, I think, that I've heard of.
yeah, these are just new standards for basically making a token. It's kind of like how you format it. Like if person A makes their token and it's in a different format, then Ethereum's got to read it in a different way. So this just makes it easy, simple to kind of standardize your token, if you will. So
Okay. And just so everyone knows here up front, so they won't stop listening to the podcast or watching the video, it's a token, but it is investable. I mean, it is something that you can buy on exchanges. It is traded on a lot of the exchanges, most of them, even in the US, which is sort of most restrictive. I think it's on Coinbase or Coinbase Pro, or maybe both. And it's on Kraken, so you can get it about
yep,
anywhere.
just
And then
like
of course
on
it's on
the
all the
DeFi.
it's on all the big ones in other countries, Binance and all of those that we don't have easy access to. So it is a token that can be purchased and invested in by anyone.
Yep.
All right, so let's talk about the purpose of it. And what I always try to think of for any crypto asset is, what problem is it trying to solve? So in this case, Ross, you touched on this earlier, so you can elaborate now.
Yeah.
What problem is basic attention token trying to solve?
Well, it's definitely a problem. I touched on, digital advertising. But, it's, if you think about how much you pay, for example, your cell phone bill, it's based on data. So if I go to a website or go to YouTube, that's costing you data. And
You mean
along with that,
the ads are costing you data?
the ads are, sucking your data out of your plan pretty much. So, and I always think of it too, like just a frustrating little note for me, if I go to a place that's got bad service and I go to watch a YouTube video, my phone's spinning just trying to load the ad before I even get to the YouTube video. So it's basically tackling the digital ad space and,
Yeah.
trying to improve it.
Right. Well, and not only the point you mentioned about sucking your data, but you think about the big digital advertisers. It's really Google, Facebook, and YouTube. YouTube's owned by one of those two, I think Google.
Yep.
So and you think about the privacy issues, problems. I mean, Facebook had the big time privacy problems. Google has it too. They're collecting our data and they're selling our data to advertisers. I mean, and a lot of people, or mostly everybody, sort of has a problem with that,
Yeah.
and especially when, in the case of Facebook, they were selling it to, parties and not even really trying to protect our privacy. So that is a big problem that BAT is trying to address too.
Yeah, and that's a huge thing to note too, is they're not only selling your data, but it's data linked to you, like you, the individual. They know Ross Eaton went to this website and did this stuff. And, BAT is trying to, they do track your attention online, but it's anonymous. So you're just linked to an ID pretty much.
Right. And so again, we get then, it's a crypto asset. So it's trying to solve the problem by decentralizing it. So, the central players in the current digital advertising world are, like we said, Google, Facebook, YouTube. They're basically getting the money, from the advertisers. They're taking a cut, and from what I understand, a pretty big cut from what the publishers actually get. I hear a lot of YouTubers complaining about you can't really make money anymore because of the YouTube system. So, really what BAT's trying to do is just cut out that middleman, and connect directly the publishers like you and I, for example, and then, of course, all the other big content producers, and connecting them directly with, advertisers that want to advertise on that outlet, and then the users And the users can choose, we'll get to this in a minute, but the users can choose, whether and what ads, whether they want to see any ads and what ads they want to see if they do.
Oh yeah.
That seems to be one of the big benefits.
Oh yeah, and just to note too on that, on this new system, what's cool is, now advertisers, it essentially just span ads out there, and they don't really have great metrics for measuring how attention was on their ad, which is, we're coming back to the name of this token, basic attention. So now BAT has also implemented something that better measures user attention on an ad. And it's everything from, they implement like machine learning stuff to like, how long that actual ad stayed on the pixels within your frame of the screen. I mean, the sophistication is awesome here. So
Yeah.
I don't know. I'm really liking BAT.
Yeah. And I like BAT, you look at their logo and it's a triangle, which I'm trying to show here. But one of the legs of the triangle is for users. One is for publishers, and one is for advertisers, and they see that as being the three key aspects of any advertising. And like you said, they try to make it more beneficial to the advertiser by targeting, right? Not just putting it out there. So I'm not getting makeup ads when I watch a YouTube video. They're instead targeting it to someone who might be interested in this, like you and I, based on our browsing habits on the Brave browser, which we'll talk about. We'll be targeted with crypto ads if we agree to see them. And I'm kind of okay with that. If I'm going to get an ad, I'd rather have it be for some crypto product than for eyeliner, So
yeah.
So, and that's good for them as well, so it puts these eyes on the right product. So that's good for the advertiser, and that's good for the user watching the video or listening to our podcast. And then, that's how they bring it all together and cut it out. Cut out the problems with the existing digital advertising.
Yep.
So the way I see it as the existing scenario with your platform like Google or Facebook, and then your publishers, your users, and your advertisers, I see it as a lose-lose-lose-win situation, with the only winner being the platform like YouTube or Facebook. They're making their money. Publishers like us, or bigger ones, are struggling to make money, and advertisers aren't getting good bang for their buck.
Yep. Yeah, this, just on the surface, BAT just draws you in, even if you don't know much about it. I mean, just that it's tackling these advertisers, I'm just all for it. It's just so frustrating getting bombarded with ads. I don't know.
Yeah, so it's a great concept. We agree. So now let's talk about the vehicle that BAT uses to do all this, and that's the Brave browser. And you and I have both been using the Brave browser, and I know you got it on your phone. I'm using it more on my laptop, but I'm loving it. What about you?
Oh yeah, it's awesome. Brave browser. I mean, I've made to transition from Chrome. Chrome was the main one I was using, and
yeah, me too.
I mean, it's great. I mean, it's very clean. It's simple. Not a lot going on. And the great thing out of the box, it comes with tons of ad blocking, so I don't get all those annoying ads and stuff. And should I drop this ball, Brian? The main key of Brave.
Yeah, well,
you can get BAT token for using the browser.
Yeah.
It is easy. I mean,
right.
Investing in crypto never has been easier than downloading a browser and just being sent Brave token, or BAT token.
Well, and so the listeners know, first of all, it's a free download. I think it's basicattentiontoken.org, but you can just Google, Brave browser. It's free download. It's an easy download. It's a browser that's simple to use. Like Ross said, you actually can get paid for it. Now, and just before we get to that, though, it automatically blocks third-party ads and trackers. So I find it to be so much faster than my Chrome, because those ads, the third-party ads, aren't there, and whatever trackers they have are blocked by this sophisticated, Brave browser, which prevents that. So that right there is a big benefit. And then, we both did this when we signed up, Ross. It asks you, do you want to see any ads? You can say no. You say no and not get any ads. That's fine.
Yeah.
Or you can say yes, and I think it gave you you could choose up to 5 an hour, which is what I did. And so then occasionally it'll send you a little notice that says, there's a little box that comes up and says, basically, here's an ad. Do you want to watch it? You click on it, and that's how you earn the BAT. You earn, I don't know, a certain fraction, 0.1 maybe per ad you see, something like that.
Yeah, it's pretty low. You do have to, if you want to, this is not going to be, paying your bills, getting BAT, token, but, hey.
Well, of course, it's going to depend on the price of BAT, which is a market price. But right now it's less than $1. I mean, it's like 25 cents or 18 cents. I mean, it fluctuates. But so I read on the BAT, on the Basic Attention Token website, that you could earn maybe up to $200 and $220 a year. So it's not a lot, but of course that's current pricing, I suppose. And so if the price of BAT were to go up, then the value obviously goes up.
Oh yeah.
All right, so another thing we always do on this show, or we normally do on this show when it's relevant, is that's talk about the team behind the crypto asset. And we've done that for all of the assets we've discussed so far. And in this case of Basic Attention Token, they do have a big name on board. And probably someone you're familiar with, Ross, as a programmer. It's Brendan Eich, I think is how you say it. And he was the founder of Mozilla and Firefox, which was a browser that was somewhat popular. But he also created the programming language JavaScript. And I think that's probably important for you.
Yeah, that's a huge name to me. I mean, I love this team. I love JavaScript. And just a fun fact for you, according to GitHub, which now owned by Microsoft, maybe I say according to Microsoft, if that's an asterisk for you, the majority of GitHub projects are built on JavaScript. It's huge. So, I mean, it's the #1 programming language. And just for the developer people out there, I mean, it feels like every week you hear about a new JavaScript tool or library out there. I mean, and even for non-programmers, I'm sure you've heard of JavaScript.
Of course, I have, yeah.
So it's huge.
And so, the guy who developed that language also developed a browser, Firefox, which most people have heard of and probably used. I've used it.
Yep.
He's now focused his attention on this token. So that gives it some credibility. I mean, you always want to know who's the team behind the token and what's their background and experience. And just having this guy, Brendan Eich, on board gives it credibility in my mind.
Oh yeah, I love this team. I used Firefox for a long time. I don't know. It's very exciting.
Yeah. All right. Well, so far it's been all unicorns and roses about BAT, but in doing our research on this, there was a little bit of controversy with its ICO, initial coin offering. I suppose this should be an ITO, initial token offering, since it's
I've never really thought about that.
Wow. Yeah, when they did their offering in 2017, they sold $35 million of BAT, which was sort of their goal. They sold it in 30 seconds. I mean, that's a mind-boggling. Just shows crypto. It was really crazy back then, for one thing, but for a brand new project out of the gate to go that fast was pretty surprising. But the problem with that is that some people are critical about, with respect to BAT, is it resulted in about 5 people who somehow got first dibs on that through however they did their system. The top 5 people held about 50% of the BAT in circulation, and that's more centralized than those of us who are believers in decentralization would like.
Yeah, and as we're doing this podcast, Brian, it's almost like a trend with everyone. It's just like, yeah, they're preaching this decentralization, and it kind of ends up being centralized. So,
Well,
I'm just
and
getting
that
into
was
it.
that was right after the token issuance. Obviously, throughout, as time has passed, it's spread out some more. It's not as decentralized, and certainly with trading on all of these very popular exchanges, there's it's now much more centralized than that. But that is a some kind of criticism, I guess, if you're looking for something to criticize this.
Yeah,
Some people had a problem with that, at least early on.
yeah.
All right. I always also like to talk about and you and I, we've talked about this before. We, all things else being equal, we like a coin or a token that has a maximum supply, as opposed to some that don't. They can keep issuing a certain amount every year. BAT does have a maximum supply. It's 1.5 billion, but already 97% of that supply is in circulation. There's not a ton of room for inflation to water down the value of the BAT. So I always like that.
Yeah, that's a key value for me, is a limited supply. It's a no-brainer.
Yeah. And just for the people for listening out there, if you are a publisher of content like Ross and I are on the Crypto Masters, it's easy to sign up for the publisher side of this as well. And that's where we as publishers can get paid in BAT for people watching our videos, listening to our podcasts, I guess, and they then have the option to give tips. But I mean, that's an easy process as well, and you set us up for that.
Oh yeah, so I just set us up on our YouTube and website coming soon. But if you're on the Brave browser, you can go to YouTube and you click your little Brave icon in the upper right, and you just say contribute. And you can always check too. Certain people have BAT set up, BAT contributions set up. So if you're liking their content, you can even set up a like a monthly subscription, like type, or a monthly tipping type system. If you really like a publisher's content, you can contribute to their project, monthly if you wish. So
and for publishers, it's pretty easy to do, and I think you get paid even separate from the tipping. I think there's ways you get paid based on the number of views and likes or whatever on your. It's all explained in the on the Basic Attention Token website. But just kind of letting people know, publishers, it's easy for you too, and users, you can just collect your BAT. You don't have to tip anyone. I mean, it's all optional. So, again, it's just kind of an easy way to get around the problems with the current system.
Oh yeah, and I like it for nonprofits, especially if they sign up for this, which they should ASAP. If someone wants to give you a token, hey, take it. But like Wikipedia usually asks for every now and then they'll ask for donations to keep their site up and running. I see this as a perfect opportunity for them. Brian, I don't know the legal aspects of it, but if they're set up for it, I'd be more than happy to contribute to Wikipedia. So
yeah, well, it's just right. It makes it easier to do that, and that's a good thing, and that's kind of where they're going with it. We want to make it easy to connect the users. We want to make it worthwhile for the publishers. That needs to be done when we're new to this, but I watch some YouTubers, and I know you do as well. There's established YouTubers, and I'll hear them sort of complaining about, I'm not making any money anymore. So hopefully this is a way around that. Well, Ross, I think we can talk some closing comments. You got any closing thoughts on Basic Attention Token?
Oh, I love Basic Attention Token. Brave is my new default browser, and another kind of ode to Ethereum. I mean, if someone like this, the creator of JavaScript is choosing Ethereum as their platform for a new token, I don't know. Maybe it's another opportunity. If you're were a little on the fence about Ethereum, maybe this will push you that way, and hopefully you'll like BAT too. So
That's a good point. I think, it does show the faith that these people had in Ethereum to choose that platform. There's a lot of different ones they could have chosen. They went with Ethereum. So that's a good point. I agree. Props to Ethereum for that. I like basic attention token. I got to be honest, though. I always disclose this. The only BAT I currently hold is what I've earned through, using the Brave browser. I've been close to buying some separately from an exchange, but I haven't done it yet. But I probably will. What about you? I mean, is this something you're actually going to invest in and buy some on an exchange, or you're just going to try to accumulate it from your viewing?
So I think definitely both. I am curious how much I can get in the Brave browser over like a year or so. I think I've at least got over half a coin now. I've been using it for a couple weeks now. But I think I will invest in it. I mean, I think the current price is under 20 cents.
Yeah.
I just looked at it before this on Coin Market Cap, but I could see myself easily investing in it.
Sure. I think so too. It just seems like such a good idea with such a good team that it's worth be a small part of my crypto portfolio, but I think it's worthy, and I'll probably do that. But as full disclosure, as of now, I don't own any other than maybe one, through what I've done, from viewing using the Brave browser.
Yeah.
All right. So that wraps up another episode of the Crypto Masters. Tune in next week. We'll have a new coin or token to talk about.
All right. Yeah, and definitely follow us. We're on YouTube. Obviously, we'll be putting out videos, hopefully more consistently. On Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, anywhere you get your podcasts, we're there. So, yeah.
All right. Thanks, everybody.
See ya.